Before we dive into the meat and potatoes of this video, I want to go through my history with the franchise. I was maybe 6 when Halo 3 released, and I think I saw my dad watching a trailer for it or something. I had already known what Halo was, or at the very least, who Master Chief was. One day my mom brought us to our local GameStop, and I ended up seeing Halo CE on the shelf. And being 6, I had no idea that it wasn't actually the game I had saw on my dad's TV. Regardless, I went home and excited and ready to play the game. My brothers and I played it for hours upon hours, and we loved every second of it. When ODST came around, my dad had bought it and it came with Halo 3 multiplayer. I spent some time on that, but I was really more interested in Call of Duty at the time. It really wasn't until Halo Reach that I got invested into the world of Halo. After Reach, I'd go on to play each and every game extensively, including Halo 5. And that brings us to today. It's been 5 years since Halo Infinite released, and I, like most players, played the campaign, a little bit of the multiplayer, and then dropped the game off long after. Halo 5's biggest criticism on launch was the lack of modes that you had. You had campaign, multiplayer, and newcomer Warzone. Players complained for months about not having Forge and Theater at launch. 343 promised us that it wouldn't happen again, and for the next Halo entry after 5 years of development, it happened again. Actually, things got much worse this time around. Well, once Halo Infinite was effectively dead, they renamed themselves, and I use the term intentionally because some people seem to think that 343 just kind of walked away and ceased to exist while a new studio stepped into calling themselves Halo Studios. At this point in time, Halo Studios has reigned over the IP longer than Bungie had from 2001 to 2010. In the 14 years since the soulless company took the helm of the Halo franchise, we've gotten 3 games, 2 of which had the bare minimum amount of content on launch, several collabs of other games, and a library's worth of books. That statement actually makes me ask a question. Why on earth do we allow games to be released broken, unfinished, and lacking content, with a quote-unquote promise that it will be finished in several months after the release? I thought we all learned from Cyberpunk 2077's launch that while delays do suck, it's better to wait longer and get a finished product than it is to wait less time and get a video game that is the equivalent of a steaming pile of dog diarrhea. It's now where I get to the actual point of the video, and that point is that I don't support Halo Studios' newest release, Campaign Evolved. I'm a lifelong Halo fan, and this shit just looks horrible. Not graphically, I mean, for the most part. I personally think everything is way too bright and colorful. An argument can be made that Halo has always utilized colors very well, but this just ain't it, fam. The idea of releasing yet another version of Combat Evolved. I mean, seriously, can we get a Halo Studios game that's fucking good? You did okay with Infinite's campaign, but where the fuck is the follow-up? It's been 5 fucking years, and you're telling me in those 5 years you've managed to create an asset flip of Halo Infinite into Combat Evolved? Halo has not been in the mainstream since Halo 4, and that was over a decade ago. Unironically, 343 has treated the Master Chief in the same way that a pimp treats his hoes. Perhaps this is too much of a high standard for me, but the way I view collaborations with Fortnite is that an intellectual property needs to have very little self-respect to allow Fortnite to put their characters in the game. Or it's a valuable marketing tool meant to advertise another product. And I gotta tell you, I seriously don't think Master Chief in Fortnite is getting the kiddies excited for Campaign Evolved. I find it rather interesting that they're choosing just to remaster the campaign of Halo CE, and not the multiplayer experience, or anything for that matter. It's almost as if every time they do something like that, they always somehow manage to make it the most bare-bones multiplayer experience, and somehow the weapon sandbox and map pools seem to shrink every installment. So why bother, am I right? The weird thing about Campaign Evolved is that they've decided to implement sprinting and new weapons, both of which were not in the previous versions of Combat Evolved. Now, I'm not one of those people who scream their head off about how Halo shouldn't have sprint. I think it's only natural that throughout a franchise's existence it should try to new things. My issue is specifically with it being implemented into Combat Evolved. The game simply isn't designed with sprint in mind. And yes, I know that Halo Studios put out a statement saying that sprint will be able to be turned on and off in the options menu. But that's not the point. This game is not marketed towards people who know what Halo CE feels like. It's trying to capture a new audience of new players, which I believe is why the game is being released on PlayStation 5. If I'm being completely honest, I can't see new players rooting around in their settings just to turn off a feature. I think it's going to result in some new players getting the wrong impression of the game. With that being said, you're probably thinking that I'm about to say that they shouldn't add the handful of new weapons that they're adding to the game. But honestly, I think it's an alright move. I'd say the most used weapon in Combat Evolved is the Magnum. It simply outclasses a huge portion of the weapon sandbox, and it's so common to find or spawn with that most players are going to likely default to it no matter what. But the idea of bringing new weapons in, I think, is a good idea. My last major criticism is that the game looks very similar to Halo Infinite, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because Halo Infinite, I think, is the best looking modern Halo game we've gotten. Some parts of this remake look suspiciously close to an asset flip, which is something I just can't stand by. I don't have all negative opinions about Halo Campaign Evolved. I think that the prequel levels we're getting are a nice bonus, and it adds a bit more incentive for older fans to purchase the game without feeling guilty for buying the same product for the third or fourth time in a row. All in all, do I think this remaster is a good idea? No, not really. Do I understand why they chose this over a new title? Yeah, absolutely. As I brought up before, I think it comes down to building a new fan base within the PS5 users. So it makes sense for them to want to release the game that started it all. Give those new potential fans the CE experience with all new bells and whistles. But personally, I think there was a way better option to do this and give your old fans something that they've been clamoring for 9 years now. Picture this, if you will. Xbox announces that Halo the Master Chief Collection will be coming to PlayStation. But it won't just be all the games that we've been playing on MCC since 2019. It'll be shipping out alongside the Halo 3 anniversary as downloadable content. Bonus levels, cut content restored, and you'd be opening the gates to a new audience while also doing justice by your OG fans. But what do you think? Is Campaign Evolved going to be a smash hit? Or do you think it'll drop the Halo IP further into mediocrity and irrelevancy? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. A link to all my other socials will be in the description as well as my Discord link. As always, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all for watching and stay ghoulish, my friends.